I call the meeting to order. The land acknowledgement, Stephenville and the whole of Bay St. George area is home to rich, diverse, and vibrant rural Indigenous communities. Located on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Beothuk, lands and waters in and around us have traditionally served as a gathering place for the Mi'kmaq. The broader region of Newfoundland and Labrador continues to be home to diverse Indigenous people, including First Nations, Inuit, Métis. So we honor and pay respect to the past, present, and future caretakers of these territories. Approval of the agenda.
So move. Second the agenda.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, on the agenda, there's an item that needs to be asked, a late item. So that would be 7.7. It'll come in after the community grant program, and that's the change order approval.
Okay. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Approval of the minutes. Need to approve that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Mayor Burns, before we proceed, one thing I'd like to bring up today, and I don't know, sometimes we get a bit of anxiety when we get around council table, and I know it was discussed earlier, but I do feel that this council and everybody in this room as well as Stephenville need to recognize we do have a councillor that's not present today. And I do feel it's appropriate that we take a moment of silence for Mr. Tom O'Brien. I mean, he dedicated much time and involvement in Stephenville, and I'd like for us to take a minute of silence, please. Okay. I thank everyone for participating. Thank you.
Okay, so we're back to the approval of minutes. 4.
Move.
Okay. All in favor?
You say.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Matters arising from minutes?
Second.
Yes.
Second.
Paul, second.
No, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Matters arising from minutes? Anybody has any matters arising from minutes? Proclamations and delegations. October 1 is Occupational Therapy Month, and October 27th is Lighted Blue, honored Clinton. So proclaimed. Finance Committee reports.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Finance Committee reports. The first one, 7.1, is the accounts payable. Be it resolved to approve accounts payable for October 23, 2025 in the amount of $426,987.66. So move.
Second.
Questions? We have noted in previous meetings, the council as a whole has gone through all these items and meticulously looked at. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Okay, thank you, Mr. I'd just like to bring attention to one of those items that was in there, and that was for the marine contractors, and that was $285,000, $411.85. So just to show some of that money is going to finish paying some of the marine contractors that did such work during the summer. Okay.
For those people that are on Zoom, and I think it's important for us to keep transparency within council, I only think it's fair to let everybody know that meetings are held of the whole, and the chamber office is open to the public, of course, if they want to get into more in depth into what council does discuss in meetings of the whole.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. The next one is 7.2 is expense check. Be it resolved to approve expense checks for the month of September 2025 in the amount of $532,707.38. I so move.
Second for that.
Second.
Questions? Favor?
Aye.
Carried. No. Against? Carried.
The next 7.3 is the remission of tax. Be it resolved to approve remission of tax adjustment in the amount of $95.34. I so move.
Second for that.
Second.
Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried.
7.4, water and sewer tax. Be it resolved to approve water and sewer tax adjustments in the amount of $744. I so move.
Second for that?
Second.
Seconded. Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody contrary minded? Motion carried.
Next is a 7.5, and this is a request for a grant. By the way, as Councillor Green had just said, by the time this comes to us, it's gone to staff to make sure it meets all the requirements. Be it resolved to approve a grant to the Bay St. George Kinsman in the amount of $1,380.00. I so move.
Second for that?
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried.
Next, community grant program, 7.6. Be it resolved to deny community grant applications requested as listed. Search and rescue Stephenville Kippens Port in the amount of $35,000 and the Stephenville Festival Theater in the amount of $18,686.46. So move.
Second for that?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
For clarification for those watching, this was brought up at the meeting of the whole, and that two items, the Stephenville Kinsman Club, I should say the Search and Rescue and the Stephenville Festival, we're going to meet with those parties and discuss that at a later date.
That's right, Councillor. Thank you.
Motion carried.
The last one is 7.7, and that's the change order of approval. And this is actually for the contract that we were looking at for the roundabout project, which was $1,215,000.08. This is just for some additional work that needs to be done. Be it resolved to approve change order number 1 for project number 17 RNC 22-00016 Minnesota Drive roundabout in the amount of $35,263.05, HST included. I so move.
For that?
I have a question on that. First of all, I didn't see that brought up. I didn't see that brought up at the meeting of the whole, and I'm not privy to that information.
No, it was something that was added to the agenda just today. Okay.
You need clarification on that?
I would like to have clarification on that, please.
So I can give you, so what the change order is in response to a meeting held on Monday, September 22nd. This engineering change order is to provide a structural analysis of Minnesota Drive Bridge to determine its condition and provide recommendations for repair or replacement. The scope of work includes review of existing documentation, site investigation, structural analysis, draft condition assessment report, complete with recommendations and cost estimates, meeting with the client, and issuance of a final condition assessment report. This change order does not include any structural design or construction administration work. So it's just to
So
Got the bridge.
who is doing that analysis?
Englobe.
Look at the overpass bridge. Determine its lifespan, see whether or not it's feasible, economically feasible. It's very important to keep it there with some modifications, repairs, and maintenance over the next couple of years.
Was that tendered out by any chance?
Yes, that was part of the initial one.
Any other questions on that?
Yep.
Okay. That's it.
That's it.
Okay, item number 3, Planning and Development Committee report.
Please stand.
All in favor.
All
Gotta vote.
in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Yeah. Am I doing that?
So,
Okay.
you're the boss.
Planning and Development Committee report, number 8, Planning and Development Committee report. Little Port Harmon street names. Be it resolved, the council approves street names within Little Port Harmon to include Little Port Road, Seaside Circle, Fisherman's Lane, Johnson Way, Connolly, thank you, Connolly Loop and Anchor Lane with civic numbers as presented. I so move.
Seconder?
Second it.
Seconded by Councilor Hines. Any questions? So we had discussion on this. It's
Yeah.
great, especially in terms of fire protection, where the case might be.
Right.
Ambulance service.
Ambulance service, you know, all of the buildings have been numbered. They have street names applied to them, and gives some clarity to that whole area down there. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Nine, bylaw.
There's one item I'd like to bring up on that, with the bylaw and regulation. And we brought up at the meeting of the whole, and it seems to be a concern of residents of Stephenville, that being the ATV route. And we discussed it in minor detail, and I took it upon myself to approach a couple of businesses, and then I came back to the town, and I met with some personnel here, and there is a map that is available. However, the map has yet to be printed. And so I do have a copy of the map here. But you know, if we're going to talk about the ATV route, I think the most important thing is to keep people in Stephenville and people from outside of Stephenville, they have to be cognizant of the rules. And number two, we have to educate the people as to what the route really is.
Weren't you aware of that? We talked about that, and Mary Lee got that printed up. It's going to be circulated throughout the town. Once the map is done, Mary Lee ran off.
Yeah.
It'll be circulated in business communities and so on throughout the town. And then the public will be made aware. These are the routes. And I think this is only for the winter months right now too, right? Did we say that? Because many of these routes coming to town.
Yeah, there is regulation between legal restrictions between November and May.
Yeah. And so this was passed by the previous council.
Yeah.
And people will then be made aware. And, you know,
I'm just wondering under the different groups if there is some, so that the town doesn't have to pay for all the printing or send it out for printing. I'm just wondering if there's any groups around that we can apply for grants. And I don't know who's in charge of grants within the town to try to come up with monies, whether it be from the indigenous people, whether or not there's Newfoundland, Labrador has, the government has some grant money approval for printing off the maps and getting people educated.
I think Mary Lee was checking into that. I think we need to determine, we're probably only going to need to print off a couple hundred, get them into the businesses. Once this gets out there, we can put it on our town website.
That's correct, yeah.
Which a lot of people will take advantage of, and then the other people, the grocery stores and so on, will get the message out pretty fast.
And it will go on our next quarterly newsletter.
Yes, we talked about
Yes, yeah.
And the important thing to know too is that after November 20th, there are no ATV routes in town. So we should probably let the public know that they've got about a month left to the tourism season, and then after that, the ATV routes are no longer in effect until May.
I think that's important to get that out because.
Is that a town bylaw?
Yes.
It has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything further, regulations, policies? Not. Item number 10, unfinished business.
Mayor Burns, there's just one item I'd like clarification on, and I'd like to see it brought up at council. I think it's important. I've been approached by numerous people in the town of Stephenville, and everybody seems to keep talking. And I'd like for us to put it to rest, but there's only one way to put this to rest, and that's Hilliard Avenue. And it's to ensure people in Stephenville that the 15 lots that were approved at Hilliard Avenue.
Stop it right there.
Yeah.
We are waiting now from municipal affairs to send back what documents were submitted to them by the
Okay.
previous council.
Yeah.
Once that comes back to us, then we can have that discussion. Right
Yeah.
now, it's still in limbo.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Nothing else then? New business?
I'd just like to, like I said, we've already paid our respects to him, but just to say how much I'm going to miss Tom. Tom was a dear friend of mine for probably the last 15 or 16 years and a very big mentor to myself, not just taught me how to partially be a man and how to be a politician, and helped me around this table lots. And our dreams was to sit at this table together. Unfortunately, we only got to do it for a week, but I'm gonna miss them, and I can't even look at the chair without crying, but, to Tom's family and all of his friends, it's gonna be dearly missed, certainly missed by myself.
I think everybody is now aware of the sun. It's out there now. Of course, the wake starts this evening from 7 to 9, tomorrow 2 to 4, 7 to 9.
Yeah.
The mass is on Saturday at St. Stephen's Church.
Yeah.
And then that evening at 8:30, there'll be Tom O'Brien tradition of big fireworks display.
Very appropriate, very appropriate.
But further to that, Lenny, yes, we all will miss him for sure.
You're very kind.
Notice of motion.
I move we, close the meeting.
And do the other.
Honors on behalf of Councilor O'Brien.
Seconded.
Aye.
Yeah.
We have a couple of items of privilege session.
Well, 156.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the